I have an unplanned learning opportunity. I was trying to set up, we have an encoder set up on the Micro 850 to show its high speed. And I wanted to go ahead and get the ENC module of the point max going because I got somebody that wants to learn about troubleshooting encoders. Well, guess what? We need to troubleshoot an encoder because, yeah, I've got it wired up and really it's paralleled. We see we got blinky lights going on this one. And really, when it comes to troubleshooting encoders, that's the first thing is, do we have blinky lights? Well, over here on this one, I don't have any blinky lights. And we could break out a fancy scope for this, but we can do a lot of good troubleshooting with a basic meter. So I have it on volts DC. And I'm going to touch it to input 0, which is definitely working on that. And you should see something like this. It's kind of bouncing around. We could go and look at the frequency later, but hey, we got bouncy stuff. And I go over to input 2, or input 1, I have bouncy stuff. So now I'm going to go up here to my 5034. Actually, I'm going to do it right here because that'll be easier. And I touch it there, and I don't really have bouncy stuff. And I touch it to B, I don't really have bouncy stuff. And here's the wiring for it. And so we have A and A naught, B and B naught, Z and Z naught that should be going over to our encoder. And additionally, we see we have these pull-up resistors on the positive of them. And so what's happening is you do have to apply a certain amount of voltage to that, and then your encoder will switch it and it'll drop the voltage enough to make it switch on your input. Now, the challenge is, what value resistor do you need for that voltage divider? I could do a bunch of fancy math and show you that, but Rockwell was kind enough to give us this chart here to tell us exactly what we needed. And so it is based on the power supply voltage. That's why it's not easy just to say, yeah, this is it. Also, it's based on the load of the particular module. So it's not even easy for me to say, yeah, you definitely need this one. But in the case of this module, because even here they warn you that it may change depending on your application. It says for 24 volt, I need 8,400 ohms. And of course I dug through everything I have electrically and I don't have an 8,400 ohm. And since there is no need in going to a Radio Shack or trying to get a resistor in town, I got to do the closest thing. So I did have a 10K and we see 10,800 or 10.8 ohms or 10.8 kilo ohms. That'll be 30 volt. 10K, we're gonna be close. So I have this wire connected to plus 24 volt and I have a 10 kilo ohm resistor connected to channel A. And you can see channel A right there. And when I touch the wire, my lights start to go blinkety blink. After that, this module is ridiculously intuitive because out of the box, it's set up not only for count, but also for frequency. So right now, I have my encoder simulator set up for 10 hertz. And we look over here and we're going right at 10 hertz. I can hit my frequency button to bring me up to 100 hertz. And we show 100 hertz, 1,000 hertz, and 10,000 hertz. And now, let's go back and check it on the 10 hertz. I touch my lead to it. And yeah, mainly it's showing a value. Now here's a good example. The point max is showing a value of 1.9-ish volts. Whereas the Micro 850, it's showing a value of 10 volt. And that has to do with what type of load is on the particular module. Now, what we can also do with a regular meter is we can check the frequency. So even though I'm on DC and we consider DC direct current, I can still hit the hertz button. And that switches me over to DC hertz. And now I'm gonna touch the A of that. And we're showing roughly 10 hertz. And now I can bump it up to 100, 1,000, and 10,000. And so even if we don't have a scope meter, first thing is, do we have blinky lights on our inputs? But yeah, here I can touch and it shows 10 kilohertz. And the main thing I'm gonna look for is, does it match the other one? And so now that one would show 10 kilohertz. And really, chances are, if they're both blinking at the same frequency, there's a good chance there's nothing wrong with the encoder. Now after that, we do need to learn about scopes. And we do have videos to help you troubleshoot encoders and other electrical connections. And here's a playlist with some of those.